What is the worst thing you have done because you got confused between items in different hands? I have put the house phone in the fridge and left the milk out more times than is healthy. The fridge is now the default first place I look if the phone is not on its cradle. My friend, I am genuinely worried. He needs a carbon monoxide detector. And to get rid of all those sticky notes. Ah, love this reference. Does Op have a landlord? I dipped my chips in the water, had a little I'm such a dumbass moment in my head, then proceeded to drink the salsa. Phone in one hand, open Pepsi bottle in the other. Threw the wrong one on my bed. 911 Yes, I drank my phone, also sorry for the call quality. When I was 10, I was watching TV and had the remote in one hand and a cup of hot tea in the other. My dad came in and asked for the remote. Instead of tossing him the remote, I threw my cup of tea and it went all over him. The next morning his chest and legs were red. This was my brother, but I was on the receiving end. We were at a country club for a wedding one evening and there were various backgammon games set up. This happened so long ago I don't even remember how to play backgammon anymore. But it was my brother's turn and he was excited. So excited he slammed his glass of bourbon down on the game board and thrust the dice cup full of dice into his mouth. Totally worth being covered in watered-down liquor to witness such buffoonery. This actually made me laugh out loud. I was writing while drinking Coke. I ended up stabbing myself in the face with a pencil. Okay, but did you draw with your Coke? Probably made some pretty straight lines, TBF. I snorted. Stuck a dog treat in my mouth and gave my dog my popsicle. She was thrilled. How'd the treat taste? It was unpleasant. This was back in the day before all the gourmet dog treats. A good old Kirkland dog biscuit. Dog treats aren't unpleasant anymore. I ate one yesterday out of pure curiosity. It was cheddar flavored and tasted like a chalky Cheez-It. Was the treat used as an incentive for you to overcome your fears and help the gang search for clues? Friend of mine once put the remote control in the oven and then wondered why he found himself in the living room holding a sausage. Remote control was destroyed. And it had previously spent several days in the back of a freezer because of a similar incident. I think this is one of my favorite stories on here, Lamau. My husband cleans the cat litter box and puts the gleanings in a tied-off plastic grocery bag. He also puts his lunch in a tied-off plastic grocery bag. When he goes to work he takes both bags outside, one to come with him and one for the trash can. Mistakes have happened. A couple minutes ago I unwrapped a stick of gum, stuck the wrapper in my mouth, and threw the gum in the trash. Did you end up eating the gum? I just grabbed a new stick. Rich guy over here with 2 sticks of gum. I wish someone paid me in gum edit, thank you, my first award. It's becoming clear to me from this thread that humans holding a cup in one hand and literally anything in the other hand is a recipe for disaster. Autopilot is a hell of a drug. It doesn't happen often, but getting to witness another person's autopilot failure is one of the great small pleasures in life. There was an instance in the NBA where Russell Westbrook just started walking up the court with the ball under his arm. When play was stopped because of the violation, his opponent, Steph Curry, said, "What are you doing?" And Russ' response was, "I don't know." This is making me laugh just reading the story. Here's a link to the video. Russell looks so confused, U2.B. Holy shit, the I don't know, am crying. I love the commentators just enjoying the multiple replays. Thank you for posting this. I had a cup of coffee and a little single-serve container of coffee cream. I opened the cream container, poured its contents into the trash, and then dropped the empty container into my coffee. Before coffee fugue is a real problem. The other day I tore open a packet of sweetener, almost poured it in the trash. Took milk out of fridge. Got coffee in the mug successfully. Went to put milk in fridge without pouring any, realized. Opened it and almost poured milk into the bottom shelves of the fridge. You are so correct about the fugue. A while back before coffee I opened the Tupperware cabinet and stared inside for a good minute wondering why I couldn't find ice cubes. Threw away $5, tried to pay at cash register with candy wrappers. Edit. To all of you asking, my favorite candy wrapper has to be M&M. I'm cracking up. What did the person behind the counter say? I knew them pretty well, same shop I'd been going to all my life, so I started laughing embarrassed and explained what happened. Never got the $5 back though. Well, that story is worth a lifetime of smiles, so maybe it wasn't a total loss. I cracked an egg, poured out the egg into the trash and put the shell into a bowl. Do you eat your eggs with or without the crust? This. I don't like this. Drank paint water and whilst washing my brush in my cup of tea. 2 simultaneous duck-ups. This is the kind of fear I always have when painting. Imagine the disaster if you were using oil paint solvents instead of water. Care to explain for a non-art guy? Oil paint and its solvents are usually pretty poisonous, or at the least really not good for you. Water-based acrylic paints are almost always completely non-toxic. You could chug a bottle of acrylic miniatures paint and the worst you would get is an upset stomach. I'm kinda curious now about what that's like. I imagine you would probably puke because of the texture. Like, it's non-toxic, but it's thick and goopy, the thought of drinking that makes me gag lol. I went to go and put a scoop of cat food in the washing machine drawer once. I too like my clothes to smell of fancy feast. Was drinking a hot cup of coffee on the back porch while throwing a ball for my dog. To be fair, it was like 4 a.m. and the pup wasn't hurt, but my favorite mug got rearranged and the tree got some dirty bean water. I did something similar. My dog drops his ball in his dish before coming in. Usually I toss his ball then fill his dish in the morning. After a long night with a sick child, I stepped out, looked in the bowl, and flung his breakfast scoop into the yard. The grass just looked hungry as all. It's important to feed Mother Nature lol. He got a new breakfast in his bowl, then grazed like a sheep for the rest of the morning. Your dog thinks you did this specially that day just for him. I bet he thinks he knows why, too. I wonder what he did that he thinks you were so proud of. Eating sandwich at beach, skipping stones, watching the sunset and thinking about life. Throw sandwich into ocean, bite rock. People saw. This is just incredibly funny to me, because skipping stones is called kasta maka in Swedish and that literally translates to throwing sandwiches. Thank you for sharing. Now I too can appreciate this on a whole other level. I grabbed my banana instead of the conductor's baton on the music stand as I began conducting the orchestra and chorus during a rehearsal. The musicians followed the banana very well, as if it were intentional on my part. Some thought the curve aided in making the performance more expressive. I laughed out loud, and kudos for being respected so much that you are taken seriously while conducting with a banana. Edit spelling, thanks. Put a wad of tissues in the laundry basket and threw my socks into the toilet. I was studying my notes, which were in a notebook, while also following lecture slides on my iPad. I tried zooming in my notes. Happened many more times throughout the sem. I didn't know how to write a certain word and was waiting for the red underline to appear on my sheet of paper to show me correct spelling. Was writing an essay last minute on the train OMW to school. I usually did it on my phone, but I didn't have time to go print it, so I had to write it on paper. Forgot what the right spelling for a word was and wrote the first 4 letters and then stopped writing and stared at my paper waiting for the prediction. You know, the thing on top of your keyboard that gives you 3 different words that could be what you're trying to type, to show up and finish the word. I stared at it for a solid 2 minutes before realizing how ducking stupid I was.